Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So I'm back again with another Alliance War video, and this time New Nation is taking on next. I believe this is War 5, and I actually have some fairly interesting fights. I'm bringing in my Warlock, and I am also bringing in Maestro, which is always weird to use the Champion Alliance War for basically the very first time. So there will be a couple of very interesting fights, including one where my officer basically attempted to kill me. Either way, it's going to be a fun war, and the next war is also actually incredibly interesting because in that war, my offense team genuinely looks like defensive team with Maestro, Photon, and a Tuma on attack. So the first fight over here, I'm going to be up against Wolverine Weapon X, and well, the key point here is obviously just don't get smacked in the face too much. I will have no problems taking care of his healing. I am using Tech Power Back Boost here, and that is gonna let Warlock kind of go in nuke mode. Here I am a bit worried about making sure that, with his aggressive AI and unblockable, unstoppable, I do catch it in time. And just to be sure, because this war was very, very close. So here I'm going to start off with getting infection as quickly as possible. Might not be the best strategy against Weapon X, but it kind of depends, because most importantly, you just want to get him past bar of power and that's the safest and easiest way to activate his, damage mode. But here I do time it pretty much perfectly. I just need to wait out the unstoppable. I think I am going to get caught on a dash back a little bit, but that's why the indestructible 3 boost is here. And he only opted for 2 hits, which was quite lucky for me. Go for level 2, and that level 2 basically finished the job. So Tech Power Back Boost was effectively unnecessary, unless obviously, well, I could have finished off with level 3, I suppose, if he survived that level 2. But next up is a bit more interesting fight. So it's Vigorous Assault, Iron Man, Infinity War, and this is going to be a job for Maestro. Maestro is obviously good for this because he's shock immune, and he's also nullify immune, and he does not inflict debuffs, which is kind of the main reason why he was chosen here. So initially, I do need to play very, very carefully to work around the auto block and gain that clarity charge. And once I do get the clarity charge, we're going to be perfectly fine. So I kind of fully expected to get hit initially, but because of the glancing, it's, not that dangerous. Effectively, you get hit, but you hardly take any damage for the most part. And now, as soon as I do get that clarity charge here, we are good to go. Just do not parry him, do not inflict debuffs on him, which Maestro doesn't. Then Masochism doesn't have anything to trigger on. And with that, life's good. He's not going unblockable as well, because he does have Vigorous Assault node. And now at this point, I do have the 3 passive Furies active, and my damage is much, much, much better. And yeah, I have the clarity charges, so all the evades and everything else also gets failed. And we can see that Maestro is going to the town. Then I am baiting out the level 2, taking a bit of block damage, but that's perfectly fine. Going for level 1 whilst the Furies are still active. Unfortunately, that didn't quite finish him off, and with that regen, he's going to be unblockable now for a bit. But it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, we're just about done here. Last 24% remaining. Unfortunately, my Furies fell off just before I activated the level 1, but still. He's only at 5% health. I am, shutting down the evade and auto block from the tactic. And that worked as a charm. So Maestro was a charming little lad, completing his job perfectly fine. And now it's time to move to the section 2, where I have to deal with path 8 this time around. Storm X fight is going to be super easy because Warlock's rank 3, and Warlock's great against Storm Pyramid X. You basically just get to level 2, nuke it, and done. I didn't even need that Tech Power Back Boost, as it turns out, for either of the fights I'm using Warlock in. The most important thing, obviously, is just, don't mess up too much, don't get hit too much. But relatively safe fight, given that I'm going to be consistently shutting off her modes, because I am power draining her, so she isn't glancing, because none of her Tempests are active once they basically get disabled for a period of time after you power drain her. And with that, yeah, it's just about as easy fight as you can get. And we can see here that it barely lasted like half a minute. Just get level 2 and done. Now, this next fight, though, is going to be a bit different. Now, the thought here was, and the general idea here was, that Maestro is a Cosmic Champion, and obviously he gains buffs. So he should not have any problems winning Rich Get Richer fight against Red Skull. And that is true for the first 30 or so seconds of the fight. Because then he replaces all of his buffs with passives, and he actually has 0 buffs active on him. Now, on this node, the specials cost half the amount of power, obviously, and combined with power efficiency and Rich Get Richer, and the fact that Red Skull, after special attacks, gets his auto block, and then he gets his unstoppable on level 2, so it's kind of impossible to punish his specials, unless it is with a heavy attack, basically. It actually is going to make it for a very fun experience. Now, at this point, I'm still chilling. I'm thinking it's fine. I have the clarity charges on, don't need to worry about auto block. Dropping level 2, it does some damage, but I know that I'm going to have to rely on my level 1s to do more damage, but as long as I'm winning Rich Get Richer. Oh, but wait, why I have very little power and why does he has so much more of it? And at this point, I realized the error in the plan. At this point, I realized that even using Warlock would have been much, much, much better idea here. Because now, he's getting power almost all the time. Now, luckily, it is around here somewhere. I realized that I got fortunate with the relic that I have on, because it gives me a precision buff even when Dex is not on. And that means I can equalize the amount of buffs that both champions have, and at the very least take away his power gain. And then, basically immediately after, I realized that with the precision, I can at least prevent him from gaining power. And now that I have started the second cycle, for a little bit at the very least, I am going to be winning the buff battle. And that's pretty much going to be the most of the fight, though. Me trying to bait out his special attacks and then punishing them with the heavies and living in my corner. So this is definitely not an ideal matchup here. And I opted to go for level 1 because obviously the burst damage bypasses the armors, and that's very nice. And at that point, I was still winning Rich Get Richer battle. And I dropped another level 1, and it does seem like we're going to be fine here. I did get quite worried for a moment in this fight. But yeah, then I kind of just realized that with the precision buff active, can stop the power gain. And then also I realized that him just chilling next to me is also dealing damage to him because of Maestro's abilities. So slowly but surely, chipping away the last few percent of that guy. And we did manage to come out of this fight relatively fine. Obviously, we did end up taking quite a bit of damage, but that's fine. Didn't die, and it was super close and super important war. So next up, should have one more fight here, one more mini boss, and that is that Ebony Maw. And for that Ebony Maw, I'm just going to be using Photon. And Photon can parry Ebony Maw easily, knock him down. Then once I enter my damage mode, I, will be completely bypassing miss mechanics. The only thing with Photon that you do kind of want to make sure is, don't let Ebony Maw throw too many level 1s. And then on top of it all, this node does have Conflictor, which I do need to keep an eye out for because it will be failing my parries. And don't eat level 2. So it's like 3 very basic, simple rules for this fight. And other than that, it's a very safe, very controlled fight. And obviously, Photon's rank 3. And then on top of everything else, we are inflicting a ton of debuffs on Ebony Maw for most part. And that means Inequity is putting in work. And we also have a fair amount of Petrify passives going on Ebony Maw, reducing that Conflictor significantly, so I don't need to be as careful. And now I see that his falter timer has started ticking, but since I'm in my damage mode, I'm not particularly worried about that. It does, start to go down fairly quickly. Now I do get some willpower healing in here as well. Go for a couple of level 1s. Will likely need to bait out at level 2, unless I just go for the nuke here with the relic. as a safety net, and yeah, that is exactly what happens. And I finished the war. So that is it for my contribution in this war. Next war, I do have some even snazzier fights, but I must say that Maestro against Iron Man Infinity War fight I liked a lot. But in the Red Skull fight, I was getting genuinely worried there. But luckily, we did end up winning this war, which is absolutely awesome. It was a tight one, it was a close one. But we got the dub, so that's what matters. We're back on the winning column for most part. I think we're 3-2 after this war here, or 2-2 now. No, 3-2. And War 6 is, as I mentioned before, quite exciting. Let me know how do you guys like the new tactics, the new season, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have